Early on in my journey of paying off my high interest debt in early 2021, GameStop exploded, and I realized how much money could be made in the stock market. Obviously, GameStop and everything like that is a huge outlier situation, and these aren't really things that we should pay attention to. Nevertheless, there is money that could be made in the stock market. At that time, I was brand new to all of this. I had no idea what kind of accounts to use or how to pick companies. A coworker overheard me talking about all of this in the break room at work one day, and a couple days later, on her last day of work, she left a book in my mailbox. I took it home that same day and I read it cover to cover. I will be forever grateful to Arlene for this gift because this book has undoubtedly had the biggest influence on my finances. So, without further ado, here are my top lessons from The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. Financial independence is when you have enough money saved up and growing for you that you don't need to work to be able to pay your bills. J.L. Collins calls this FU money. Those who live paycheck to paycheck are slaves. Financial independence is about having enough money that you can buy your freedom, that you can live the kind of life that you want to live. When you can live on about 4% of your net investments each year, you're financially independent. There's a lot of stress when your ability to get by in life fully depends on your next paycheck coming in. Most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and this is incredibly stressful. If you can escape living paycheck to paycheck and start saving up enough money to ultimately become financially independent, that's going to be a massive stress reliever. Debt should not be considered normal. It should be considered the vicious, pernicious destroyer of wealth building potential it truly is. Most people consider debt to be normal. Most people live paycheck to paycheck, and most people are stressed about finances. Don't be normal, be the exception. While something like a 2 or a 3% interest rate mortgage might not be that bad, high interest debt will bury you alive.
What are you doing? Burying you. I'm alive! I'm alive! You're waking the neighbors! Stop! No!
When paying off debts, focus on paying off the highest interest rate first. Your debt and repaying it is you focusing on the past, and the sooner you can pay off the past, the sooner you can start saving for your future. After 9/11, the author was laid off from his job. He ultimately remained unemployed for 3 years, and over that time frame, he and his family were fine. He and his wife had saved up enough money that they didn't have to work in order to pay their bills. So over the course of those 3 years, he stayed up late doing projects, he slept in whenever he wanted, and he had plenty of time to spend with his young daughter. An emergency fund of 3 years is super hefty, and that's something that we should have way further on down the road. But most of us who are young, in their early to mid 30s or 20s, should have about 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses saved up. You want to have this money set aside so that if something comes up, you don't go into debt to deal with the emergency. On the topic of wealth, he cites Mike Tyson as a celebrity who, in his career, earns about $300 million, but ultimately went bankrupt. Wealth is not about how much money you make. It's about how much of that money that you're able to keep for yourself and put to work growing. The person who makes $50,000 a year and saves $10,000 will grow wealthier than the person who makes $200,000 and spends $195,000. The stock market is the most powerful wealth building tool of all time. Stop thinking about what your money can buy. Start thinking about what your money can earn. And then think about what the money it earns can earn. When we shift this mindset from consumption, what can I buy, what can I spend my money on, to saving and investing, what can my money grow to, we're going to see a huge change. Start investing early and regularly to maximize the power of compounding. Owning a stock is owning part of living, breathing, dynamic companies, each striving to succeed. When we own a stock, it's not just owning a piece of paper. It's not just having our name on a list. When we own a stock, we own part of a company, and that company is staffed by individuals who are also trying to succeed in life. We can't time the market, and nobody can. We shouldn't try to time the market. We should just try and be the market. Getting the average market return is great. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just invest regularly over time, and when the market crashes, think about that as an opportunity, especially if you're young like me with an investment horizon of decades. Market crashes are going to happen, and when those happen and when prices drop, we just keep buying, and we get lower prices on things that we wanted to own anyways.
Oh my God! We're having a fire sale! Oh, the burning! It burns me! Evacuate all the school children! Ah! Oh, mate! This isn't a fever! Sing, Gray! Can't even see where the knob is!
Market is always going to go back up, and if it doesn't go back up, none of this stuff really matters anyways. Over a 15-year time frame, Vanguard found that only 12% of actively managed funds were beating the market. Over a longer time frame, this number drops down even faster. Don't try to pick fancy-sounding stocks or funds. Just pick a low-cost total market index, something like VTSAX. Vanguard was founded in 1975 by John, or Jack, Bogle, and it's client-owned and operated at cost. Vanguard funds, and an extension, the investors in those funds, are the owners of Vanguard. Because the company's interests and the shareholders' interests are aligned, Vanguard is a unique company in the way that it's structured. This is why J.L. Collins prefers to use Vanguard for his investing. Avoid fees as much as you can and focus on low-cost index funds. Financial advisors are often incentivized through commissions and fees. No one else is going to have as much of a vested interest in your finances as you. The more complicated the funds, the more complicated the investment, the more it's designed to make money for the managers or the people selling it to you instead of you. Don't pay someone else to manage your portfolio for you. Rebalance your portfolio once a year. J.L. Collins picks his wife's birthday as the day each year where they rebalance their portfolio. He cites a rough estimator of 120 minus your age is the percentage that your portfolio should be in stocks. So as an example, I'm 34. 120 minus 34 is 86, so 86% of my portfolio should be in stocks. The reality is mine's closer to 95 or 96% because I'm young and I don't want to own any bonds yet. He cites his own allocation as 75% stocks, 20% bonds, and 5% cash. I had already been working on paying off my debt when I received this book, but after I finished reading it, it really changed the way I thought about money and debt and investing. I doubled down my efforts to pay off my debt and attacked it relentlessly. It also shifted my perception of what kind of things I should be investing in and what kind of accounts to use. Instead of using a taxable brokerage account, prioritize tax-advantaged accounts first, things like HSAs and Roth IRAs and 401ks. And rather than pick individual companies, just buy a low-cost total market index fund, something like VTSAX. The path to wealth is simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Spend less than you make, invest the rest, and avoid debt. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you liked this and you'd like to see videos like this in the future.